Hey guys, and welcome to round 10 here in Germany of season 3 of SRL. You join me as ever on my outlap, ready for the fastest lap I do of this session. We're coming round to the last corner now, which is tricky to get right and tricky to get traction out of. We do it nicely, we pop it into rich mix, focus for the turning point of turn 1, which we do nicely, no cutting, no extension, flat out, open DRS. Now this very tricky braking point, which is all important for the massive straight coming up next, which we need to get a good run out of, which we do. We run slightly too wide there, won't have cost us too much time. Open up DRS, and now we just got to concentrate for the braking point, stick to the outside to make sure we get the widest run in, brake nicely, run slightly deep, we'll get away with it. We get a good exit out of the corner, no wheel spin, put it into rich mix. Now coming into the Mercedes-Benz section of the track, coming to Mercedes-Benz grandstands, traction is all important around here. We take that corner very nicely, slight squirm of oversteer on the exit, have to do a slight lift around that corner, but we are nicely purple coming into the last sector. It's incredibly twisty but also very rewarding section of the track. Nail that lovely cambered hairpin there. Now coming and focusing for the double right-hander to finish the lap. We stay wide for a good exit, which we do nicely, make sure not to run wide for rich mix over the line, and we do put it on pole over our teammate, which is one of the first times we've actually beaten him in a head-to-head qualifying session. So here we are on the grid. I'm on pole, teammate and championship rival in second, and Jamie's put in an excellent performance in third. Waiting for the 5 red lights, just focusing on it to get a good start here, which is vital. Got 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. They're out and away we go. We're probably going to move to the inside, which we do just to cover off any pad starts. Now move back to the outside to get a widest turn in possible for turn 1. Keep it on the track. It looks like there's been contact behind. We've come across scot-free, and Boseman has destroyed his vehicle already after one corner of a 34 lap race rather. So it's not gone well for Boseman, but we have extended our gap nicely. We've just got to make sure we continue to extend this gap to get our teammate out of DRS. We move to the inside just so he doesn't get any slipstream there. Brake nice and conservatively on these heavy tanks of fuel. Have to flick it into first to get the back around there. Just tried to extend our gap. We cut all the way to lap 7. And as you can see, our tyres are shot at this point. We've just run off the track there, and we don't have any grip on these tyres anymore. You can see we're sliding around the track, floating around. The car doesn't feel planted anymore. So we are going to pit this lap. But the question is, what tyres are we going to put on? Once again, we haven't done a single lap of race practice, so we don't know what strategy we're looking at. But judging by how early we're pitting, it must be a 3-stop. I think we're going to go conservative here, put on prime tyres, see how long they last, so we can make a strategy call mid-race. Let's see who stays out, and it's going to be our teammate obviously, so we don't stack in the pits. Is Aresi going to stay out? And you can see we're the first ones to pit on the circuit so far. It looks like Sejumit, Jamie and Aresi all stayed out, and TJ looks like he's come out ahead of us there, and Rockhammer. And it's going to be very close for Golf. If we move across the racing line, he's got a lot of overspeed we're going to have to defend, and we do that nicely. Focus on a good exit on these slightly cold prime tyres. He'll be on one option, so it should be pretty much even on the grip levels. Let's see how powerful the DRS is down this curved back straight. Hopefully it's less powerful than it was in 2012, and he's not going to be close enough, but we do brake very late, very late, just in case he had any ideas of a dive or anything. We can't afford to be taken out. As we now come around on the same lap, and Rockhammer pits. He was on prime tyres, so that's an interesting call from him. But he wants to get the primes out of the way as soon as possible. And we move up to 5th place. The cars ahead all pitted a couple of laps later, so we now cut to lap 16. Our tyres are getting quite worn now. Our teammate's trying to go around the outside of the hairpin here. He braked later than us on his fresher tyres. We're just going to squeeze him out of road there. No luck there, sunshine, and we now got to just make sure we maintain this position for our pit stops. Our team are telling us to pit this lap, but I think we need to be pushing these tyres probably another lap just to make sure we can go on options at the end. But as you can see, we are struggling for grip. And our teammate has been much faster than us. We had about a 4-second undercut, and he closed that down in about 6 or 7 laps. So fair play to him, he's got good pace. We're locking up the front left, but I don't think we can afford to pit if we want to get onto the faster option tyres later on in the race. So we don't pit, and we've got to focus on a good exit here, which we haven't really done. Our teammate runs completely off the track to get a better exit than us. But he thinks better of going on the outside in turn 1, which is never going to work. But now we've got 2 DRS zones here, which he will be much faster than us in. We brake nice and early into that corner so we get a good exit. It hasn't really worked. He just seems to get better purchase off that corner. We're going to defend, although I think it's pretty much going to be too little, too late there. He's gone straight past. He moves to the inside. Slightly pointlessly there. We're never going to have a go at him. He'll compromise himself for this corner, but our tyres are too green to do anything about it. So we pit at the end of that lap to put on another set of primes, because although they're not much more durable than the options by the looks of things, we still need the extra couple of laps they give, which is a shame. So, but we will be able to do one option stint at the end, so hopefully we'll be fast at the end of the race. As we can see, the top 3 looking like they're on a 2-stop strategy, who are all staying out. Jamie pitting the last previous time round, Aresi pitting first, and Callum pitting in the middle. We've got a fair old gap, 11 seconds to them, so let's see if we can close that down on our fresh prime tyres. And we can see that my teammate and Aresi both pitted. Aresi a lap before Callum just this lap. But Jamie is still out, so he's looking like he's going to be very fast at the end of the race with his newer prime tyres. So let's see if that comes back to pay dividends for him. We regain the lead, Jamie having pitted that lap, but we're cut to lap 26. We're going to pit this lap for option tyres. Callum didn't close us down this stint. We've been driving much better. He did close us down by a couple of seconds over the undercut, but let's see if we can make the difference on these option tyres. We're going to put on, take the pit entry nicely there to gain as much time as possible, and that was just confirmation they will be on 2-stop strategies and we will be on option tyres. So let's see what the relative performance difference of the 2 tyres are. We are going to come out in 4th place. We finished on the podium, but we haven't finished lower than 2nd position all season, so I'd really like to keep that record, or at least finish on the podium every race this season so far. But let's see what the gap is to Aresi ahead. So we run slightly wide there. I can immediately feel these tyres are feeling awesome. They've got so much grip, so much traction. It's an 8-second gap there to Aresi, so let's see if we can close him down in the remaining 7 laps. But we cut later onto this lap and we've already gained a whole bunch of time on it. So it looks like these options are a lot faster than the primes. I can feel through that last sector especially. I'm gaining chunks of time, and we're still closing in on Aresi at a rapid rate of knots, so we are going to catch him. You can see there we've just set the fastest lap of the race, which was faster than quite a lot of people's qualifying time. And I think next lap we are actually going to be in DRS here. We're too far back to the slipstream now. Jared's not a problem, he's well behind us down the road. So let's just see, we'll just follow this lap and see how much we actually close on him. Clip the curb on the inside there, which unsettles the car for the exit. But it's going to be in the last sort of 2 sectors here, which we're going to close in on, and that's going to be the difference of the times, because his primes are much more worn than the 2 ahead of him, having pitted it 2 laps earlier than Callum and 3 laps earlier than Jamie, and this should be the sector that makes the difference. Despite dirty air, we're still closing in on him, and coming into the hairpin, yeah, we're just going to get much closer. So, but as we can see that our DRS has just failed. What a time to happen. So having had fully functioning DRS when it was utterly pointless, we've now got failed DRS, which will make this move much more difficult. So if we get a good run through turn 1, which we do, we're not even going to wait for the long black straight, because there's no point, because we won't have the DRS. So we are going to overtake him up the inside here. nice clean move. Later on the brakes just sort of run him slightly wide. But one consideration here is that he will now have DRS, which I hadn't fully appreciated at the time, if I'm perfectly honest. So I'm going to have to go defensive here. Squeeze him to the outside of the track, but he doesn't have enough grip to go around the outside and there's one primed. So we're now closing down Jamie, who's about 5 seconds ahead, 2 tenths that lap rather, and now we're starting to make proper gains. His primes must be going properly off, and yeah, we're gaining seconds a sec to sort of proper amounts of time. They're actually now visually closer every corner, so this is a really good incentive. Our options are going off, to be honest, so I'm glad I stretched those primes a lap earlier previously on in the race. So these tyres aren't feeling great, but according to the pace for the guys ahead, their tyres are feeling even worse. Fortunately, our DRS is back online, so we will be able to benefit from that. We're getting a bit excited there, run out wide. Didn't really gain much time out of it. Came back on the track pretty swiftly. But Callum and Jamie are both struggling ahead, and we get slight oversteer mid-corner, run out wide again, didn't really benefit us. We now have DRS, we're not going to be close enough to make a move into the hairpin, but Jamie's going to be close enough on Callum, and he's going to be clear ahead by the braking zone, and Callum does the sensible thing, backs out of it. We brake incredibly late. Callum gets oversteer mid-corner on the apex, and we do overtake him. We were communicating during the race, and from my point of view that looks slightly like a lag tap or something, but there was no contact on his screen, so I keep that position. But can we close down Jamie? Our tyres, look at our tyres, they've just, as we get flung off the track, and I do lift off there so I don't gain any advantage, our tyres are going off as well, so I don't think we're going to be able to get the win, but looking like it was going to be a pretty much dead cert third place to battling for the win on the last lap. What a finish this has been to the German Grand Prix. We're going to come across the line in a second place, which is excellent. We still haven't finished lower than second this championship. Jamie takes his second win of the season. Excellent job from him. We beat our teammate, which will do our championship no harm at all. Jared comes home fourth, picking up good points for Williams. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.